What's going on, everybody? Welcome back into DLF. I am your host today, Justin. Today we are talking through start or sit at the running back position for week 2. Now, I know what you're thinking, right? That's not Dynasty. That's not trades. That's not player value. True. But again, you still have to set lineups. You still have to play the right guys to win the titles for the perfect teams that me and Addison have built for you, right? So, with that being said, we got 6 guys here. Players I've gotten questions about on Twitter, players I have questions about in my own lineup that we're going to talk through here. Before we do, again, if you like what we're doing here at DLF, subscribe to the channel, like the video, questions, comments, start sit questions. Drop that all down below for us. All right, that is it. Let's get into it. The first player on the list, it is none other than the rookie 101, Breece Hall. What do you do with him coming off of 10 targets in week 1? A pretty unspectacular first game. You know, obviously outproduced by Michael Carter, outrushed by Michael Carter. What is his role? Does it expand? And is Cleveland the team to kind of unlock him? I don't think so. I don't think this is the breakout week. Obviously, Michael Carter performed well. He's going to continue to get work. That's not a question. The real question is, you know, what the heck is going to go on with the passing volume, right? Does he see 10 targets weekly? Short answer, no. Game script really kind of pushed him in that direction. Again, you don't expect or anticipate any team, especially the Jets, to throw 59 times every single week, right? Like, that's just not realistic. Even with them as 6-point underdogs against the Browns, I just don't anticipate that, right? CMC saw 5 targets last week, and he is, the pass-catching running back in the NFL. If you put him around a more realistic 3 to 5 targets in a more condensed game script that isn't them trailing by massive amounts, it gets a little bit more difficult to say, yeah, he's an RB2 this week, or yeah, I want to trust him in my flex. And honestly, I don't. I'm going to sit Breece Hall down this week because I don't think game script is going to benefit him. I don't think the workload split is really going to benefit him. 10 to 12 touches feels correct. And if that's all he's getting in what isn't a high-powered offense, I'm kind of out this week, right? The time will come. The time will come where Breece Hall is a locked-in, loaded starter. It's not going to be week 2, unfortunately. Guys I've been asked about, Miles Sanders, Kareem Hunt, are they fluky? Probably a little bit, but I still think they're safer than Breece Hall this week. Give me both of them over Breece Hall. Again, I'm not even trying to throw him into my flex. I'm out. I'm out for this week. Not out for the career, the season at all. Just week 2. I don't like the chances for Breece Hall. Moving on, we have another rookie, Hall of Famer Dameon Pierce, right? If you're on Twitter, he was crowned before week 1. He was the running back. He was the guy. Well, we enter week 2, and I don't think that's the case, and it makes me smile because I got eaten alive for not buying into Dameon Pierce, and this is why I didn't. It's not that I think Rex Burkhead is good. It's that I don't think Dameon Pierce is. This is what happened if you're not familiar, if you were living under a rock. Rex Burkhead took 72% of snaps. Dameon Pierce took 28%. Rex Burkhead had a 67% route participation. Dameon Pierce had a 12% route participation. That last little bit there is key because of the matchup they have this week against the Denver Broncos. The Denver Broncos are 10-point favorites, which means you should or can expect a pretty negative game script for the Texans, right? They're not going to be able to run a ton. It's going to be a lot of passing work. And Rex Burkhead, who saw 8 targets last week, is probably going to be put in a position to see, another 6 to 8 targets this week. Because, again, they're just going to be trailing. They're going to have to throw. That's what Vegas expects. That's what I expect. And that is bad for Dameon Pierce, right? Again, he could dominate the rushing work. But if they're not in position to run the ball, they don't have the game script in their favor, it's going to be difficult to run. And right now, Rex Burkhead is the clear-cut receiving option for them in this offense. And Dameon Pierce didn't outproduce or, beat Rex Burkhead in really anything efficiency-based last week. So I don't anticipate a massive shift in Dameon Pierce's role in week 2, right? It will come at some point. I don't think it's happening week 2, So I'm going to sit Dameon Pierce. I just don't want to play him in this kind of situation. I don't think it's a good idea. I don't think it's a great matchup. Sit him down, right? Just wait for him to prove something. Prove that he's not behind Rex Burkhead. Moving on to our third guy, the waiver wire hero of the week. It is Jeff Wilson. Jeff Wilson's interesting, right? He gets Seattle, a divisional matchup. Seattle just kind of got torched on the ground by Javonte Williams and Melvin Gordon. Obviously, 2 fumbles at the 1-yard line gave Seattle the win, but don't be mistaken here. Denver outplayed them. Denver was better, especially in the second half. And that means, right, there's points to be had on the ground. What does that mean for Jeff Wilson with Elijah Mitchell now out for an extended period of time? He has a chance, right? He has a chance to take volume. The concern, Deebo Samuel exists. Trey Lance exists. In my eyes, those are the handcuffs to Elijah Mitchell, not really Jeff Wilson, right? He is a question mark. There's no doubt about that. Do we know he's getting all of the rushing work? Could it be, Jordan Mason? Could it be Tyrion Davis-Price? Absolutely. Jeff Wilson is not locked into anything. With all of that being said, I do believe he is the starting running back here, right? Again, it's not a guarantee, but that's what I believe. So because of that, I'm happy to toss him in my flex. If I'm talking a deep league and you got 2-3 flex options, you got beaten up by injuries week 1, you need a guy. I think Jeff Wilson can be that guy. Right, I want him over Dameon Pierce, over Breece Hall this week, because the expectation is he should be the RB1 there. Now, that doesn't mean the same thing it meant a couple years ago, or even last season, but still. He should see the most touches of the running back room, and that's what we're trying to pinpoint here. So, against Seattle, where, they should win, they should have a good game, I'm going to roll Jeff Wilson out deep leagues as a flex option. Again, over Pierce, over Hall, behind Etienne, behind Hunt, behind Chase Edmonds. Devin Singletary's kind of a wash. That one's a coin flip to me. But that's where he should be slotting in your thought process, in your rankings for week 2. Jumping to running back number 4 here, and it's a guy I've already mentioned. It is Travis Etienne. The sweetheart, the rock star of Dynasty and redraft in the preseason. Did not have the most ideal week 1 output. He was outproduced by James Robinson. However, I am not going to give up on Etienne whatsoever. If you watched all of his touches, all of his opportunities, he is utilized in a way that just screams the time is coming, right? It is going to happen. This is a guy who had 3 red zone targets in his first ever NFL game. He took 100% of the short yardage work. He took the majority of the long down and distance work, the majority of the receiving work. He took the high value touches, and that's what I care about, right? It's going to pay off. And I'm not saying James Robinson's going to disappear, because we just saw it. It's basically a 50-50 split. 51% of snaps for Etienne, 49% of snaps for James Robinson, as split as they come. However, I want the high value touches in Travis Etienne. So because of that, I am playing him as a high-end flex this week, right? Not like Jeff Wilson, where I'm like, deep leagues, maybe. Etienne should be in your lineup. Again, this is assuming, right, you got 7-8 starters, 2 flexes. That's where he belongs. He needs to be in the lineup because the upside is tantalizing. Again, against the Colts, a team that just gave 24% target share to Rex Burkhead and Dameon Pierce. The receiving upside is clear, and if that's going to happen in this game, it's going to go to Travis Etienne. Roll him out with confidence. High-end flex. Think Rashaad Penny, Michael Carter, James Robinson. I'll play him over James Robinson because of the types of touches they got in week 1. That is where I'm at with Travis Etienne right now. We got 2 more here. Next guy on the list, it is Darrell Henderson, the newfound workhorse for the Los Angeles Rams. And I don't say that even as a joke, really, right? 82% of snaps, 78% of routes. Cam Akers averaged 0 yards a touch. Right now, it is Darrell Henderson's backfield, right? Could it shift? Do I expect this to stick? No, I don't. I don't think it's realistic to give Darrell Henderson that much work. He's not that good. But right now, if he's going to get 70+% of the touches, the snaps, all of it, he's an RB2. It doesn't matter who he's playing. I mean, it does help He gets the Atlanta Falcons, who are just, not good. You can't sit Darrell Henderson. It feels gross saying that, but he is a top 20 running back. He has to be in your lineups, right? He's a guy that could go for 15 to 25 points this week, and that kind of feels like the floor in this matchup with a pissed-off Rams team coming off of a embarrassing game against the Bills. Darrell Henderson is going to be featured. He's going to be utilized heavily. You have to play him this week, right? I get not wanting to because it's Darrell Henderson, but you have to play him. Some guys here that, he may be ahead of or behind for you. This is where I'm at. Right now, he's ahead of guys like Zeke with Cooper Rush. No thanks. Kareem Hunt, still split work. Even against the Jets, that could limit his pass-catching upside. So I want Darrell Henderson in the matchup. And then CEH, he's good. Or at least he was last week. I'm not banking on that kind of red zone usage every single week, or even that upside from Kansas City every single week. That felt almost fluky how easy it was. So pump the brakes there a little bit. CH is still an RB2, but he's behind Darrell Henderson for me. Guys that Henderson should be behind in my eyes. A.J. Dillon. Again, if you watch my trade target video from yesterday, A.J. Dillon is a guy I am very high on right now. He's entering that premier role. Play Dillon ahead of Henderson. And then honestly, Cordero Patterson. If Dameon Williams isn't fully healthy, they clearly don't trust Tyler Algier. He was inactive in week 1. Patterson's going to get a bulk of the work. And again, the other side of this matchup, they're going to be trailing. He should get a ton of pass catching work. Roll out Patterson over Henderson in week 2. And to close us out, we have one more guy here, and it is none other than Rashaad Penny. One of the easiest fades for me coming into this season, because Seattle's offense just isn't very good, and it's still not good. Spoiler, right? Geno Smith had a good half for the first time in like a decade. He's bad again. They got figured out pretty quickly. Rashaad Penny right now is difficult, especially going up against the 49ers, a team that just held the Bears to under 3 yards a carry, and yes, the Bears are also bad, and yes, the weather was terrible. But it's not surprising that the 49ers defense is good. Like, that's not shocking or new information. So Rashaad Penny is a guy, with Kenneth Walker coming back, it's very difficult to get excited about him. Again, he's still going to be the quote-unquote workhorse, at least early with Kenneth Walker coming back for his first game action coming from off of surgery. It's very difficult. He really can't slot in as much more than a late flex. I'll take him over Dameon Pierce, like I said early. I'll take him over Breece Hall, but even now as I'm saying it, I kind of hate it. But that's where you should be. He should not be locked into your lineup in redraft, in Dynasty, in any format. He is a deep flex like Jeff Wilson. Again, it's just all around kind of weird and gross and just doesn't give you good vibes. The pass catching role is not there. If they can't stay on the field and they're going to be a slow-paced offense, the volume may not be there. The end is coming, right? The end is near for Rashaad Penny in terms of like that super fantasy relevance that people thought he might have heading into 2022. All right, guys, that is all we have. Again, 6 names here. If you have others, drop it all down below. Start sit questions, send them on over. If you like what we're doing here at DLF, subscribe to the YouTube channel, right? Like the video, follow myself, Addison DLF on Twitter. As always, guys, thank you for watching, and we will see you next time.